Hello, lighting people. It's LightX 2025, where over 90 exhibitors are here, and we thought we'd catch up with two manufacturers. We have Tim from WTEC, and we have Shakil from Scout Lighting to discuss lighting design and applying lighting and controls to modern commercial applications. Tim, Shakil, thanks for joining us. How's the show going for you so far?
It's been
great.
amazing.
Yeah.
Great days.
Yeah, lots of energy, lots of specifiers here, and you folks cater to the engineering, to the lighting design community. And Tim, when you think about the way that office space right now is kind of going through a resurgence and a little bit of a growth despite all this post-COVID stuff, what are you seeing right now as far as the transformative aspect of how people are approaching office space today versus maybe some of the ways they were doing it in the past?
Yeah, so I think definitely in this post-COVID environment, it's been a couple of years already, so I think we're coming to a new normal. Technology is really driving the design. Before, the technology was a nice to have, maybe we'll do it, maybe we won't, really 11th hour afterthought. Now it's coming to the forefront, during the schematic design phase, clients want to make sure that they have smart buildings, they want to have sustainable buildings. So they're really looking at the technologies that can be put in place to provide, obviously on the OpEx savings, but also to provide the best workplace for their employees as they're coming back to work. And, the employees are also demanding that because, why would I leave my house unless I can go to some place that's even better? So we're really seeing that change, and it's great where technology is driving design and really, playing a really big part in it.
Well, it's interesting you say how technology is driving design, because that leads me to what I was going to ask from the Scout Lighting, from the fixture side of things, Shakil. When you think about it, is it do we approach it where we lay out the lighting and then add on the tech, or do we start with a technology first approach?
No, it's, I think ever since I really entered the industry, I've always seen controls just kind of dictate more and more the lighting design elements of the project. And what people are really looking for, particularly with the resurgence of return to office, and I come out of New York, I am fortunate enough to travel all across the country, is LEDs ushered in this promise of, sustainable for sure. Smart is that next element, and the atmosphere has always been an integral part of that. And it's just incredible to see the rise of how controls have allowed us to do all three of those things: smart, sustainable, atmospheres.
That's interesting feedback, and you used the word smart a few times there. And of course, with Tim, one of your the foundation of what your business does is something called, I think, Smart Engine, if I'm not mistaken. And that's a low voltage based setup. Tell me, when you think about all the different ways to approach lighting control in commercial applications, what are the advantages of a low voltage system compared to other alternatives?
So the low voltage systems, are the backbone is over a low voltage category cable, 18 gauge cable that allows for power control and data transmission over a single cable. So, it's just simplifying the install on the front end, but also allowing for that data transmission where, talking about the smart and sustainable applications, you need data. Data is the new gold.
Absolutely.
And it's, not having that data, you can't really do anything. So, that's where we're seeing a lot of success, especially in the commercial office spaces. Our native infrastructure not only allows them to, power and control lights in a very efficient manner, but it also allows for, a ton of data to be collected and to be provided back to building management systems, building operation systems, and also just that general dashboard feedback reporting for, the tenant or the building owner to know what's going on in their space and allow the space to use that data to work in the most efficient way possible.
Just to follow up on that, Tim, when you think about the data, what's most important to those building owners as far as some of the data points that they can collect?
So it really depends on where you're at. So obviously in the city, where Shakil's based, local law 97, that's probably one of the most advanced in the US, and every kind of major metropolitan area is starting to adapt their own. So obviously just the energy consumption, but we're seeing, back to this return to work and everything, sustainability plays an important part, but it's more into the wellness side, the indoor air quality. That's probably the most important one today. What's the air like in that space? Making sure the climate's the best possible space, but also, going into that data side of, how's the space being used? Real estate is not the least expensive thing on the P&L. So people want to make sure that they can really optimize how their space is being used and get the most out of their space.
Makes sense. And when you think about the reason why the two of you are together here with Scout Lighting and with WTEC is because you folks have collaborated on projects in current and in the past as well. So when you think about that from a standpoint where you come from, Shakil, on the fixture side, Do we approach design with the low voltage solution in a different way, or do we look at it in the same traditional sense as laying out systems and lighting together?
Yeah, it's no different than anything else. Obviously, the most important thing being is the design appropriate for the application, right? So if we're talking about corporate interiors, do we have the appropriate or recommended practice in terms of foot candles, in terms of contrast ratios, et cetera? Nothing is different. We're just at a beautiful inflection point whereby we can learn some lessons from where spatial planning used to be and where are we taking it. And I think there's a tremendous amount of opportunity, particularly with the technology the WTEC folks are bringing to the table for a manufacturer like Scout Lighting. We harness LED technology. How do we just bring rocket fuel to that with technology like WTEC and make it smart for everyone involved?
When you talk about making it smart, so Tim, this whole thing is a topic on smart lighting. What are the real benefits to the occupants, the people that live with these systems for 5, 10, 20 years? And what vertical markets outside of the commercial office that we've been talking about might this also be beneficial?
Yeah, so obviously the biggest benefit is that they don't even know it's there. That's probably the most important thing, that the building just works. We've all heard the horror stories about certain technologies and how the sensors interact and everything. So for us, probably our best compliment is, wow, I didn't even know we had that. But obviously from the facility managers, the building users, looking at, from the lighting's energy savings, the integration to the BMS systems, the space analytics, indoor air quality, bidirectional beaconing, all of those, use cases stack up to really allow for a smart and sustainable building to take place. And then from the vertical side, we've spoken heavily to commercial office, which is one of our largest, but I'd say, the next two would be data centers and education, whether it be K through 12 to higher ed. That's where we're seeing the most benefit, and obviously where LEDs are most prevalent.
Great discussion. If someone wanted to learn more about the smart engine, low voltage system approach, where would they go to visit and learn more?
So check out our website, www.wtec.io.
Awesome. Well, hey guys, thanks for the conversation. Thanks for sharing 5 big questions, and we'll see you at the next commercial project.
Thank you very much.